Hello, I'm Hope Logan. I'm an actor on Bold and the Beautiful, and many people really love both me and our Bold and the Beautiful drama. So I've come here to share updates about my beloved Bold and the Beautiful. Everyone, please subscribe and support me. If you do, I will keep coming every day with new updates for you. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers reveal that a storm unlike any before may be gathering on the horizon, and at the center of it stands Brooke Logan Forrester. For far too long, Brooke has tried to convince herself that keeping the peace was worth every compromise, every painful smile, and every moment she swallowed her pride for the sake of family. Even when Katie Logan Spencer's choices repeatedly created tension between them, Brooke refused to believe that her sister was intentionally working against her. She continued to encourage Katie's ambitions, insisting that she genuinely wanted her to succeed, despite the cracks that continued to spread through their relationship. But there comes a moment when patience reaches its breaking point, and it appears Brooke may have finally arrived at hers. The woman who has spent so much time trying to avoid another family war may now be preparing to start one herself, determined to play a dangerous game that she has absolutely no intention of losing. The trouble began long ago when Bill Spencer handed Katie control of her own fashion house, a generous gift that should have been the beginning of an exciting new chapter. Instead, it quietly planted the seeds of resentment and competition between the Logan sisters. Every success Katie celebrated seemed to create another uncomfortable distance between herself and Brooke, forcing them into situations where old wounds never truly had the chance to heal. Still, Brooke refused to abandon hope that they could eventually move beyond their differences. She believed that family should always come first, even when emotions ran high and disagreements threatened to tear them apart. Unfortunately, that optimism may soon vanish completely after Katie makes a decision Brooke will see as nothing less than a deeply personal betrayal. According to the latest spoilers, Katie's decision to hire Hope Logan Spencer could become the final straw that destroys whatever trust Brooke still had left. From Katie's perspective, the decision is simple and entirely justified. She genuinely believes she is giving Hope a fresh opportunity when her future has become painfully uncertain. Hope has spent weeks watching hope for the future remain trapped in limbo, while her professional future slipped further out of reach, leaving her vulnerable, discouraged, and desperate for stability. Katie sees herself as someone extending a helping hand to a family member who desperately needed one. She believes she offered Hope not only a new job, but also a chance to reclaim her confidence and independence before it was too late. Katie will undoubtedly defend every part of her decision when Brooke confronts her. She'll insist that this wasn't about stealing anyone away or creating unnecessary conflict. Instead, she'll argue that Hope deserved an opportunity to build something new, rather than remain completely dependent on Steffi Forrester Finnegan's unpredictable decisions. No longer would Hope have to sit helplessly, wondering whether Steffi would allow Hope for the future to survive another day. Katie will passionately explain that she simply opened a door when Hope had nowhere else to turn. In Katie's eyes, she isn't the villain of this story at all. She's the one who stepped up when no one else would. But Brooke is unlikely to hear any of those explanations with an open heart. Instead, every word Katie speaks may only fuel the fire already burning inside her. Brooke will see something entirely different behind Katie's actions. She won't view this as an act of kindness or compassion. She'll see calculated timing. She'll believe Katie deliberately approached Hope during one of the most emotionally vulnerable moments of her career, taking advantage of her frustration, fear, and uncertainty. To Brooke, Katie didn't simply offer Hope a job. She poached her when she was at her weakest, pulling her away from the family business and steering her toward a path that threatens to create yet another painful divide within the Logan family. Hope herself won't escape Brooke's disappointment either. Brooke will undoubtedly struggle with the realization that her own daughter accepted Katie's offer so quickly, especially knowing the emotional consequences it could have for everyone involved. She'll question why Hope didn't fight harder to preserve what they had already built, or trust that things could eventually improve. Even so, Brooke's anger toward Hope may never equal the fury she directs toward Katie. In Brooke's eyes, Katie is the one who created this entire situation by placing the opportunity in front of Hope in the first place. She'll believe Katie knowingly paved the way for another devastating chapter of family conflict, choosing business over loyalty and ambition over sisterhood. As those emotions continue to build, Brooke may finally reach the point where forgiveness is no longer an option. Every previous disagreement, every ignored warning, and every painful compromise could come rushing back all at once, convincing her that she's been far too forgiving for far too long. She may declare that she's completely finished treating Katie with patience and understanding. The gloves are finally coming off. No more excuses, no more second chances. The sister who once rooted for Katie's success may now become the very person standing in the way of it. Brooke's frustration could transform into something much darker than simple disappointment. She may openly admit that she never truly believed Katie's fashion house had what it takes to survive in the competitive fashion world. Until now, those thoughts remained private because Brooke still wanted Katie to prove everyone wrong. But after this latest betrayal, that goodwill may disappear completely. Rather than hoping Katie succeeds, Brooke could become determined to make absolutely certain that Katie's newest venture crashes and burns before it ever has the chance to flourish. What was once silent skepticism may soon become active opposition. That shift in Brooke's mindset opens the door to an incredibly dangerous possibility. Instead of merely expressing her anger, Brooke could begin plotting ways to sabotage Katie's business from the shadows. Every opportunity to undermine the fashion house, every chance to create setbacks, and every possible obstacle could suddenly become part of Brooke's strategy. She may convince herself that Katie deserves every consequence coming her way after crossing such an unforgivable line. Revenge, after all, has a way of making even the most reasonable people believe they're justified. And Brooke may feel completely justified if it means teaching both Katie and Hope a lesson they'll never forget. For Brooke, this wouldn't simply be about destroying a fashion company. It would become deeply personal. In her mind, Katie and Hope have joined forces in a betrayal that cuts far deeper than business competition ever could. Their partnership represents broken trust, fractured family bonds, and painful emotional wounds that refuse to heal. Bringing Katie's fashion house to its knees could become Brooke's way of reclaiming control after feeling powerless throughout the entire ordeal. She may see total destruction as the only fitting response to what she believes they have done to her and everything she has tried so hard to protect. As these explosive storylines continue to unfold, the Logan family may find itself standing on the edge of one of its most devastating internal battles yet. Relationships that once seemed unbreakable could be shattered by ambition, resentment, and revenge. Brooke's determination to retaliate may ignite a chain reaction that affects everyone around her, leaving no one untouched by the fallout. What began as a simple job offer could evolve into an all-out family war, where every decision carries painful consequences. And if Brooke truly follows through with her plans, Katie's dream of building a successful fashion empire may soon face its greatest threat yet. The bold and the beautiful spoilers suggest that dark days could be approaching for the Logan family. And if Brooke Logan Forrester has anything to say about it, the road ahead may be filled with heartbreak, betrayal, and total destruction. With emotions spiraling out of control, the stage is set for a confrontation that could redefine the future of the Logan family. Brooke has reached a place where every memory of her past support for Katie now feels almost impossible to reconcile with the pain she currently carries. She remembers defending Katie when others questioned her ability to run a fashion house, insisting that family should stand together no matter the circumstances. Looking back now, those moments may feel like painful reminders of trust that she believes was never returned. Instead of seeing gratitude or loyalty, Brooke sees what she considers repeated acts of betrayal, each one building upon the last until her patience has finally been exhausted. The emotional burden becomes almost unbearable, convincing her that remaining silent would only invite even greater heartbreak in the future. Katie, however, is unlikely to back down simply because Brooke disapproves. She believes her business deserves the freedom to grow without interference, and she refuses to apologize for recognizing Hope's talent when others left her future uncertain. In Katie's mind, success should never be treated as a betrayal, especially when that success comes from giving someone a chance to rebuild their career. She may even argue that Brooke is allowing her emotions to cloud her judgment, transforming a thoughtful business decision into something far more sinister than it was ever meant to be. But those words may only pour fuel on an already raging fire. Once trust begins to crumble, even the most reasonable explanations often lose their power, replaced instead by suspicion and resentment that seem impossible to erase. For Hope, every passing day becomes increasingly difficult as she watches two of the most important women in her life drift further apart. She never imagined that accepting a new professional opportunity would place her at the center of such an emotional storm. Rather than celebrating a fresh start, she now finds herself carrying the weight of guilt, wondering if her decision has unintentionally shattered the fragile peace that once existed within her family. She appreciates Katie's confidence in her abilities, yet she cannot ignore the pain reflected in Brooke's eyes whenever the subject is mentioned. That conflict tears at her heart, leaving her questioning whether any career opportunity is worth the emotional cost now unfolding around her. As Brooke continues to process everything that has happened, her thoughts may become increasingly focused on revenge rather than reconciliation. She could begin convincing herself that Katie needs to experience failure before she truly understands the consequences of her choices. Every setback Katie faces would become proof, in Brooke's mind, that justice is finally catching up with her. That dangerous way of thinking has the potential to transform Brooke into someone viewers rarely see. A woman willing to fight with calculated precision instead of emotional impulse. If she chooses to walk that path, every move she makes could be guided by one goal alone: ensuring that Katie's ambitious dream never has the opportunity to become a lasting success. The fashion world has never been a place where weakness goes unnoticed, and Brooke understands that reality better than almost anyone. She knows how quickly confidence can disappear when public perception begins to shift. She understands the importance of reputation, timing, and momentum. And she may decide to use every lesson she has learned over the years to gain the upper hand. Whether through strategic decisions, behind-the-scenes maneuvering, or simply exploiting moments of vulnerability, Brooke could become a formidable obstacle standing directly in Katie's path. If those instincts take over, Katie's fashion house may find itself facing challenges it never anticipated. Not from outside competitors, but from someone who knows exactly where to strike. At the same time, the emotional cost of such a battle would reach far beyond business. Family dinners could become painfully uncomfortable. Celebrations could be overshadowed by lingering resentment, and every shared moment might carry the weight of unresolved anger. The Logan family has weathered countless storms throughout the years, but conflicts between sisters often leave the deepest scars because they cut through bonds built over a lifetime. Every harsh word exchanged risks reopening old wounds that never completely healed, adding fresh layers of pain to an already complicated history. What begins as a disagreement over Hope's career could ultimately evolve into a family division that affects everyone connected to them. As these dramatic possibilities continue to unfold, one question remains impossible to ignore. Will Brooke allow her anger to define her next chapter? Or will someone manage to reach her before revenge becomes the only path she can see? Likewise, will Katie recognize the depth of Brooke's pain before the damage becomes irreversible? Or will she continue believing she has nothing to apologize for? The answers to those questions promise to shape the next phase of this emotional saga. Until then, the Bold and the Beautiful spoilers suggest that dark clouds continue gathering over the Logan family, and if Brooke truly decides to pursue total destruction instead of forgiveness, the fallout could leave relationships shattered long after the fashion battle itself has come to an end.